think of the impact of this. This is really kind of frustrating about how our brain is set up. But the symptoms are designed to tell us that something's not right. And the bias that's happening in the brain is trying to make the person comfortable because the brain is not very good about thinking months, years, decades ahead. It's thinking about now. And it's saying like, okay, this symptom is frustrating. I don't like feeling this, but I'm good right now. I have other things on my mind. Welcome to another episode of the Physician Growth Accelerator, a show where we break down your medical practice systems into vitals, give you the tools to diagnose root cause of what may be restricting your growth, and prescribe what to do about it. I'm your host, Ed Williamson, and I believe that every system is perfectly designed to get the result it gets. And when you think about growth, I don't mean necessarily getting busier. Maybe that's something you want to do, but maybe it's something you don't. I see growth as health for your business. You have to have a healthy business side of your medical practice. And identifying the things that you don't like about your business health and understanding that those are the perfect outcomes of the current system is very empowering. It helps you really understand what needs to be tweaked to get the result you're looking for. And I want you to think about the patients you see. This probably doesn't surprise you, but very commonly, patients start to experience a symptom. And the symptom is from some kind of root cause. But what they do is they ignore it a little bit. And something goes off in their mind and it says, well, this isn't important right now, so I'll just deal with it. And then time goes on. We actually have a lot of experience in understanding this side of the patient's psyche, because the work we do many times involves us talking to patients and understanding what barriers were in the way of them seeking care earlier in their disease states or whatever they were dealing with. And it's extraordinarily common for us to have these conversations with patients, and it sounds something like this. Well, I noticed this symptom, and it was a little bit frustrating, but I thought to myself, well, it's not that bad. I'll just deal with it. And then time goes on. And then I'm starting to think to myself, well, I guess it's, probably because I'm getting a little bit older and this is just the way it is. And it keeps going. And a year, 2 years, 3 years passes by. And the symptoms get worse and worse, and it starts to impact their life in a negative way, obviously. And so that's when maybe they start to look at some research online, or maybe depending on what it is, they go over the counter. Maybe let's say it's knee pain. So now they start taking Advil and it helps a little bit, but now they're taking Advil all the time. And they're not thinking about the fact that they probably shouldn't be taking Advil every day. And they still have this mindset of, well, I guess I'm getting older. I used to play those sports when I was younger. I guess I'm just paying the price now. And it keeps going. And now it's 5 years have passed. And they finally go to the doctor. They bring it up at primary care. And primary care says, well, you could try this, do this. And they still don't do anything about it. They still just treat the symptoms. Maybe they go to urgent cares. And years and years and years go by. And finally, it gets to the point where it's such a major negative impact on their life that they go, this is it. I'm done. I'm going to go see somebody. And that's when maybe they get to you, the specialist. And looking at this person's life, understanding what their disease state or the pain they're dealing with, what agony they went through over those 5, 6, 7, 10 years, that they just didn't do anything. And it's because that patient was ignoring their health. If we really simplify what happened is they were living a life that was operating a system that created this perfect outcome, whatever the root cause of their issue is. And they didn't do anything about it. So the symptoms got worse and worse. The body is trying to get their attention. Like, hey, this is getting worse. This is getting worse. And their brain is operating off of bias. And think of the impact of this. This is really kind of frustrating about how our brain is set up. But the symptoms are designed to tell us that something's not right. And the bias that's happening in the brain is trying to make the person comfortable because the brain is not very good about thinking months, years, decades ahead. It's thinking about now. And it's saying like, okay, the symptom is frustrating. I don't like feeling this, but I'm good right now. I have other things on my mind. And then maybe the symptoms do things like create worse sleep. And now the brain is getting less recoup time, which means bias is operating it more. Maybe it's creating stress. They're trying to keep down some behavior around their family and people that they're working with because they're so impacted by these negative symptoms, but they don't want to blow up on other people. So that's using a lot of brain energy. And when you're using all that brain energy, guess what? Bias is driving even more. And you create this habit of not doing anything. The patient was ignoring their health. And you get to see them at a point where they have gotten to this massive struggle point, and hopefully you can help them. Sometimes people are a little bit too far gone, and it restricts what you're able to do for them. And you know that if they had come in sooner, it would be better. And you know, because the patient tells you almost 100% of the time, they say things like, man, if I'd known this, boy, I wish I would have come in sooner. And it's all about ignoring their health. I bring this up because it's very common as business owners for us to be under stress, for us to be a little bit exhausted, and for us to let bias drive our behavior. And that little symptom that we're witnessing in the business, it's probably important, but the way we look at it is, I've got so many other things on my mind. I can't stop and take care of this right now. It's not that bad. I'll think about it later. And time goes on, just like that patient. And we end up ignoring the business health of our practice. And the longer we ignore it, just like with your patients, the worse it becomes. Until it gets to the point where you say, I'm over it, I'm done, I have to fix this thing now. And many times, you're just like that patient, and the choices you have to treat these root causes of what was hurting the health of your business, they're not as many as they would have been years ago. They're usually a little bit more difficult. And it's amazing how our brain works, as our brain is trying to help us feel safe. And like I said, it's not good at thinking months, years, decades into the future. And as a business owner, operating a private medical practice, the health of your business is very important. And ignoring the business health of your practice is just like a patient ignoring their symptoms and just thinking to themselves, well, I guess this is the way it is. I was speaking with someone the other night, and they work in a medical practice as an employee, and they were telling someone else about their experience working there. Someone said, hey, how's work? And they go, well, it's fine. It's just like any other thing. It's, sucking the life out of me, but it is what it is. And man, that just crushes me when I hear that, because it doesn't need to suck the life out of us. You are seeing these patients because they have gotten to the point when they ignored their health that it's sucking the life out of them. If they had done something earlier, they would be in a different spot. If you're ignoring the health of your business, then you could end up in one of those places too. And it's really it's up to us to take a step back, as brief as you can make it, whatever works for your time, and think about the business health, and think about what is something that is a symptom that is frustrating right now. Because if I let it go, it's going to get worse. But I know that it's the perfect outcome of this current system I'm operating. Where can I dig in? Where can I see that there's constraint that's creating this that I have an impact on, that I can change? How can you check the health of your business so that you don't get to a point where you're too far gone, like so many of the patients that you likely treat? And there might be people talking to you, just like I'm sure you come across spouses, where the spouse is with the patient and the spouse says, yeah, I've been telling them to, I don't know how long I've been doing it. It's been 6 years. I've been telling them 6 years to go to the doctor. And there might be people like that with you on the business side. And so realize that your brain is just trying to keep you safe. It's not making the best decisions for long-term outcomes. Sometimes you have to take control, overcome that bias, knowing that you're exhausted, knowing that you're stressed out, and say, okay, today I'm going to focus on the health of the business side of my practice. And if you ever want help checking what that looks like, we've created a simple diagnostic. You can go to physiciangrowthaccelerator.com and check my vitals. Click check my vitals, and it'll help you dive in. Because sometimes it feels overwhelming. It's just like that patient. So much stuff is going on. They go, I don't know what kind of doctor to see first. I don't know what to do. I got too many things on my mind. Same thing can happen to you. So this helps you identify if there's something that jumps off that diagnostic where it's, when you click yes on that button, man, that's hitting a nerve, then there's something to dive into there, because it's all changeable, because it's a perfect outcome. And we just need to check the system and tweak what we need to tweak to get the result we're looking for. So pay attention to the health of the business side of your practice, because that is where your long-term success is going to come from. Visit physiciangrowthaccelerator.com, click Check My Vitals, and we'll see you next time on the Physician Growth Accelerator.